All right, welcome back to another episode of Bitfinex Talks. I'm your host, Ricardo Martinez. Today, I'm here with Luis Fernando Dal Porto, who is the head ambassador for Polkadot Brazil. Luis, how are you today?
Hey, nice to meet you. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Nice to meet you also. Thanks for coming on the show. My
Yeah, no
first
problem.
question is, can you basically give us a brief overview of what Polkadot is and how it's different from other blockchains and Web3 chains?
Yeah, so Polkadot from the start was developed with the concept of having a layer zero that would facilitate like security and interoperability for our ecosystems. So from the beginning, what Polkadot was envisioned is that there would be a lot of chains, like people would develop a lot of chains. So but there's a lot of technical problems, a lot of difficulties, a lot of securities involved, that it's really hard to build your own chain. It's a very long process and a very it's not cheap. So Polkadot basically is this layer where you can build your own chain using the Polkadot SDK or substrate, as it was called, and you can also share your resources with all the chains that are connected within Polkadot. So that's the main idea of Polkadot.
Could you explain Polkadot's consensus mechanism and how it contributes to the network's security and efficiency?
Yeah, so Polkadot uses a mechanism called nominated proof of stake. It's basically you can nominate up to 16 validators. So instead of most networks, you can only choose one validator. But here in Polkadot, with this NPOS system, you can choose like up to 16. I mean, you can choose 1, 2, 3, 4. It's up to 16. So using this mechanism, doesn't matter if it also like improves a lot your staking, like your earnings, because if you choose just one validator, you have to expect this validator to validate blocks, and then you can receive rewards. But if you're nominating with 16 validators, your chances improve of getting more rewards. So that's one of the reasons that maybe the staking for Polkadot is quite profitable. So, and one more thing, I mean, this also helps the validators to receive more DOT, to receive more help from the community, for the stakers, because you don't have to mark yourself as the only best validator in the network. You can have like a lot of validators that collude in one thing. So they have like this package of, hey, we are the best 10 validators. So people can choose the 10 validators instead of just one. So this helps a lot with the decentralization aspect, because there won't be like one big validator that everyone trusts. So there's a lot of that. And also it helps maintaining like more more open to more validators to be part of the set that is receiving rewards. Because as a staker, as someone that will stake DOT, you don't have to worry about, like, if you can choose 5 validators, one of them is small, it's not a problem, because you definitely will receive rewards because of those 4 validators that are bigger. So there's also this incentive in play, that you can choose one validator that isn't big, like, isn't like a huge enterprise. You can help them get up the ranks of validation, but you won't lose rewards. So it's very important for the network to have this nominated proof of stake mechanism because of all of that.
Can you discuss the role and importance of parachains within the Polkadot ecosystem?
Yeah, I mean, parachains are the main product of Polkadot, right? So you can create your own chain, and in a very modular way, because there are these basically like these modules, these blocks of codes called pallets, where you can basically build your own chain using like some codes of blocks, So if you want like NFTs, you can implement them on the logic of your own chain. It's not a smart contract, so it's in the same level of security of the chain. It's not a level higher. It's more secure than a smart contract. So it's one of the coolest aspects of building your own chain within Polkadot using the substrate, the Polkadot SDK. And also, basically, parachains can be, since we have interoperability, parachains can be optimized for a specific use case. So, for example, there's one big DEX called HyderDX. It's the biggest DEX within Polkadot. It's a parachain focused on being a DEX. So everything they do, like every new implementation, they have complete freedom to implement new things without the constraints of building a smart contract, because you have to build more contracts. There's this immutability thing that most contracts go for. So in a parachain, you're free to upgrade as you want, because there's also on-chain governance installed on every parachain. So you can do a lot of upgrades to your project, to your parachain, without having to worry about the base layer, because you have full control of of everything going on in the chain. So yeah, it's mostly for specific use cases. So every parachain is mostly for specific use cases, but there are some chains that are more general for general purpose. For example, Moonbeam and Aster.
How many parachains are there currently in the Polkadot ecosystem, and are they also validated by the Polkadot Validators?
There are around like 50 or more, like probably around 60 already. So just in Polkadot, right? So yeah, each parachain has what is called a collator. So a collator is basically, if you know like the Ethereum sequencers lingo, it's basically a sequencer, but it's more decentralized than a sequencer, because every parachain can have up to just one collator, which is the block producers, and up to like 100. Like for example, Moonbeam has 100 block producers called the collators. So these collators, they make the blocks and they put them in line and send you Polkadot to validate those blocks. So this is very interesting because it opens the possibility for, you can have like a private chain, a chain that is basically private because they have full control of their collators, of their nodes, So, but the validation process is public because it's in Polkadot. So it's a very interesting thing you can do. You don't need to have like only public parachains. You can have a private parachains or hybrid parachains. And at the end of the day, the validation process will be public because it's made by the validators of Polkadot, for all of the parachains. That's how it works.
How does the interoperability in Polkadot work? Is it just between all the different parachains, or is it also between other blockchains like, Cosmos or Bitcoin or Ethereum that are out there?
So in Polkadot, they developed something very like non-opinative. It's called XCM. It's cross-chain message format. It's basically it's a format for cross-chain interactions. It's not a protocol. So for parachains within Polkadot, using the Polkadot security, for those parachains, there's a protocol made using XCM, which is called XCMP. So XCMP is basically the protocol for cross-chain transfers between parachains. But we also can, you can do anything you want with XCM. There's a bridge being built using XCM for Polkadot and Ethereum. And there was a team that built a bridge for Polkadot and Cosmos. It's called Composable Finance. But instead of using XCM, they used IBC. It's the inter-community protocol for Cosmos. So that's also a choice. I mean, you don't have to use only XCM. You can use any interoperability protocol you want. But for parachains within the Polkadot ecosystem, it's very preferable to use XCMP, because you have a security guarantee that all the chains within Polkadot are talking in the same language, in the same protocol. So they are using the same protocol, they are using the same security, so every parachain has the same security guarantees. So that is very powerful, So it's basically one of the biggest advantages of Polkadot, because you have like a complete product that basically you can build your own chain, and you have like all these resources available just to connect to your chains and talk with, if you need resources from another chain, you can XMP directly to them. Let's say you need native USDC, for example. You can basically have all the parachains with native USDC, because they're using the same security, the same protocol, and the same security that the whole ecosystem in Polkadot is using. So basically, for example, USDC and USDT, they are all native, and you don't have those bridge risks.
Okay, cool. That's super interesting. How does Polkadot ensure that it's scalable, that it has a high degree of scalability?
So yeah, I mean, one of the things that Polkadot can do, like right now, it's you can already connect. Like we said, we have 60 parachains. You can already have already like up to 10,000 parachains. It's very big. I mean, imagine 10,000 projects. That's basically the whole coin market cap. If you go browse to all the pages, you get probably 10,000 projects. So that's a lot of chains. So it's already scalable to up to 10,000 parachains. So yeah, it's pretty scalable already. So, and yeah, I mean, for those projects, for those parachains that are building inside Polkadot, they can focus on their own dApp, their own product, because that's also a very important factor, because you can scale your product, and you don't have to worry about building your own infrastructure for everything, because you can just connect with another chain that has it. It's a very collaborative, ecosystem. And also, there's one more thing called elastic scalability, which is basically, since it's so easy to create and manage a lot of parachains, you can have, for example, one parachain for your own, like your own name, your own business, that's specifically for EVM interactions, and another parachain of your own that's specific for some enterprise products. So it's all yours, and it's all connected. So it's for the same brand. We can have a lot of parachains that do different things, so you can scale your product based on demand. So if this demand is not necessary anymore, you can just close their parachain. I mean, you can take all those assets in that chain, move securely using XCMP to your main chain, let's say, and you can just delete the old chain. It's very flexible.
Can you discuss any Brazilian projects that are currently building on Polkadot?
There's not a specific project that it's made only for of Brazilians, but there are projects that has a few Brazilians in the team, like for example InvArc, the co-founder of InvArc, which is basically a DAO builder, a very powerful DAO builder. A parachain is a DAO builder. So one of the co-founders is from Brazil, but there's a lot of projects, like for example in Moonbeam, which there's some dApps there that are forward towards the Brazilian market. For example, last week they announced a partnership, Moonbeam and the Grupo Rão, which is basically a group of a lot of restaurants. So there will be like a fidelity fidelity NFTs for users. So, for example, you can get like if you buy a lot in this sushi place, you can get a free coupon made of NFT to get a free sushi. So there's a lot of products right now building towards the Brazilian market.
Okay. Is there a large Polkadot community in Brazil?
Yeah, it's pretty large. I mean, we've been building the community since 2020, basically since Polkadot's launch. So there was we had a Telegram group which with around like almost 3K members actively, talking and interacting. We had also a Twitter with more than 2K, but Twitter took us down for no reason. I don't know why, but we're starting again. Yeah, but there's a lot of people. I mean, in meetups, we have like always a closed house because, for example, in uh, April, no, in July, we had a meetup in Rio de Janeiro and in São Paulo, and it was overcrowded. We had like 80, 80 slots, for 80 people to be at this meetup, and we we received like 200 invitations to be at this meetup.
Wow.
So there's a lot of people interested in Polkadot right here.
Like, what are the main challenges and opportunities for Polkadot, like in Brazil specifically?
Well, in Brazil, it's basically up to us, to make it work because the let's say the global infrastructure of where Polkadot was based, which is Web3 Foundation. It's one of these enterprise companies behind Polkadot, and Parity. They have a lot of priorities around the world, So they talked a lot with the US market especially because of the regulation aspect. If you can get regulated in the US, you're basically free to do whatever you want in the whole world. So yeah, they almost got that. I won't say they managed to get it but for all the action letters that the SEC has been issued, they never mentioned it dot. So it's probably a good thing. So yeah, in Brazil it has been very easy because here there has been a lot of blockchain development initiatives right here, even from the government. So we have like there's a CBDC being built. There is a lot of big enterprises already adopting NFTs and blockchain. They are actually in the process of studying those public blockchains, what we can do with them. So it's very like a huge sea of opportunities right here. So yeah, we are doing a lot of things to get those opportunities and move to Polkadot, because it's right now it's basically the chains that we see most talked right here. It's basically more Polygon, Solana, Cardano, and Polkadot. So those four chains are the main chains being developed here.
What are some of the most exciting projects in the Polkadot ecosystem, in your opinion, right now?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like HydraDX is one of the most interesting projects. It's a DEX, but it can be like very powerful for the ecosystem because just recently since they are a DEX chain, they have also something called, they just implemented, it's automated DCA. So we can DCA using their DEX, and since everything is connected, they just released a proposal and it passed. It's everything on chain, so if it passed, it will be executed. So they released a proposal so the Polkadot treasure can accumulate USDT over time using their DCA infrastructure. So it's very powerful. I mean, imagine like Ethereum Foundation automatically building their treasure, instead without needing to resort to trust. This is basically all trustless. So it's all set. It will be Polkadot treasure will be DCAing into USDT for like a year or two, and it's all automatically using and it's all secure, So yeah, HydroDX is very powerful for the whole ecosystem. Also, centrifuge is very huge. Like Web3 Foundation just recently also they announced that they will buy US Treasury bills through centrifuge chain, through the chain. So yeah, I mean, there's, and also centrifuge is basically one of the biggest real world assets chains right now. And also they're starting to build more things on their own chain, because up to now they have a lot of liquidity in Ethereum. So they want to be in both worlds. They want to be with their own smart contract in Ethereum, but they also want to expand their use cases in a very modular way using their own parachain, the centrifuge chain. So this treasury bills from the United States was the first pool of assets they released on their own chain. It was basically last week. So yeah, they're going to improve a lot of their product. Very easy to onboard a lot of institutions. So yeah, centrifuge, HydroDX, and yeah, I mean those are the main. I think those are the main two that I can think about right now.
Nice. That's super interesting that they're buying treasuries through a blockchain.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the governance in Polkadot and how it works?
Yeah. So like I said, like I mentioned with HydroDX, you basically every parachain can have on-chain governance, including Polkadot. So but the governance it's closed in their own, it's their own chain. It's not like something Polkadot decides and has to be replicated around parachains. No, that's not the case. Every chain is autonomous. They have their own rules. So you can have like a chain that doesn't have on-chain governance. That's fine. Some parachains are like that. For example, Aster, they still have like a pseudo key that control the chain. This is not really a problem, because they can just remove the pseudo key and start using the on-chain governance. It's more advanced than, for example, the layer 2s of Ethereum, because they're basically all based on multi-sigs. But in Polkadot, you can have already a very centralized governance to upgrade the chain using the on-chain governance. That's part of the substrate, Polkadot SDK tech stack. So yeah, I mean, especially for Polkadot, what happens right now is we have this open governance that controls what will happen to Polkadot. There's no more central authority around Polkadot. There's no foundation. It's the open gov, So one of the collectives that serves OpenGov, it's a on-chain collective. So they also have like their on-chain payments. It's another cool thing. It's everything on-chain. So this collective, basically, it's made of very technical people that contributed to the Polkadot code, and they can propose changes to the Polkadot, the Polkadot protocol itself, like the base layer. And so they are one of the collectives that take care of the Polkadot, but we also have, but basically everything, even their decisions, pass through the OpenGov, which is where everyone votes with DOT, to have things change on the chain. So for treasury proposals, for financial, decisions, from upgrades, everything is through the OpenGov and has to be voted by the token holders, the stakeholders. So yeah, it's very, very robust. I mean, there's a lot of attention going on to the OpenGov, because people are realizing that if it passes, it will be executed. So there's a lot of people that basically are looking into the OpenGov every day, the whole day. So we can't have like some baseless nonsense stuff being approved.
Is there anything that I haven't asked you that you think is important for the audience to know about Polkadot?
Yeah, there's a huge upgrade coming. It's called Polkadot Agile or Polkadot 2.0. So it's basically making Polkadot more accessible for everyone, So up to now, the way that the parachains would connect to Polkadot would be through I forgot the name. It's an auction mechanism. So, but that's very, it's slow, very slow, extremely slow. I mean, it can take up to like a whole month for a project to actually deploy on Polkadot, connect. But this is not very good for teams that want to experiment more. They want to build something, like they have the idea, they want to test it, in like a month or less than a month. But there was a lot of preparation involved in building in Polkadot. But with this upgrade, this Polkadot Agile upgrade, one of the things that will change is how Polkadot creates revenue. So for now, the products, the parachains had to lock DOT and get on those auctions. So up to 2 years, using the security and the interoperability of Polkadot. So after this time, they would just unlock the DOT and they would have it back for themselves. So, but this is not very scalable for Polkadot, so this new upgrade will be basically you can buy an NFT that will represent the security and the interoperability of Polkadot for a month, for up to a month. That's the maximum amount you can get. But you also can buy, projects will be able to buy packs, of 12 NFTs for 12 months. So this is way faster than going to an auction. So you can there will be a marketplace called Elastic. This won't be just for projects. This will be open for anyone. So if you want to buy block space, from Polkadot, you will be able to go to Elastic and buy your block space and maybe sell for more, later on. That would be a possibility. Or just hold a few block space because you're planning to launch something in 2 months, so you can be prepared for that. And the price will be around, for example, for a month of security and interoperability, it will be around 2K USD. It will be a fair price, I would say. So this is very good for projects because they can have they can expect what they will be paying to have this infrastructure. It's predictable. It's very important to have predictable costs, because without this prediction, you won't know how much you need to expand. For example, for layer 2s, every Ethereum layer 2 depends on how much the Ethereum layer 1 is the gas is, so they depend on the demand of the layer 1. If it's cheap, it's cheap. If it's expensive, they will pay a lot more in a month, maybe. So yeah, it's very predictable. And there's also one of the second biggest upgrade that's coming with the Polkadot Agile is the Accords. So basically, to put it simple, you will be able to build like a super app using every parachain that makes sense for your product. So super apps are in the rise since a long time. China has, WeChat, there's app they can pay and talk and do a lot of stuff on their phone. Twitter's X, now they called X, is also going for this super app thing. And Polkadot, you will be able to build like an interface that will be very friendly to the user. They will use a lot of parachains without knowing they are using a lot of parachains. It will be very abstract from the user, because it will be like one accord, like one big deal that these parachains will do to make products more accessible to everyone, like a huge super app.
That's super cool. I can't wait to see that in action. It's going to be interesting when we start seeing like blockchain super apps for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool. How can people follow you on social media? How can they stay up to date with what Polkadot is working on? Can you give the links, please?
Yeah, for social media, Polkadot is mainly active in Twitter, on X, with at Polkadot, or my handle is at 1x Luis. I'm gonna write it for you right here. 1x Luis. So that's it. And yeah, I mean, you can also follow the website, the blog, polkadot.com/blog. That's where the main upgrades are being published there. So yeah, basically Twitter and the blog is the biggest sources you can get. I mean, there's a lot of information there.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show and answering all my questions about Polkadot.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to be here. Thank you.